And Ben, speaking of speech impediments, you had two challenges in the film. You're Australian, and you had to, speaking in proper English, and then also, the stuttering aspect it was a challenge. Can you talk about those?
Yeah, well, absolutely. But there's a lot of the same answer in this. It required looking at the material that the researchers had gotten of the time, and there's a lot of similarities between these two guys. In some ways, they both have the speech impediment. They both have to overcome that. The king, essentially it's work. You go with a voice teacher and you do it every other day, and then every day you spend an hour and a half. You drill. You find the what's known as received pronunciation, and then you add in the speech stuff. I mean, for those of you that are familiar with the King's Speech, this takes place a little later, and so the work, some of that work has been done. But when you think about these two guys, they have a lot in common, but they come at it from completely different ways. Winston, as you say, was a man who sort of is a self-promoter and stuff. The king is completely the opposite to that. The king is a guy who has been put there by dint of unlikely circumstances and makes a decision of great sacrifice to himself and his family. And so all these things kind of inform, and believed very, very much in duty, etc., etc., etc. You can see the fruits of it in Elizabeth. So you do your own sort of impressionistic, sort of psychological sense of the guy, and then you get the sounds, and off you go.
They were both not wanted.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Neither of them were wanted. I didn't want him. They didn't want me. They wanted the other guy, the good-looking one that could talk.
And they didn't want me.
Yeah. They didn't want you. I didn't. Yeah.
Ben, I was impressed with the fact that, and maybe it is Anthony who did this, the lack of usage of the words that start with R in the way that Ben speaks. Oh, you guys are laughing, but
well, because there's an addendum which we're going to get to.
Okay.
That's why.
Well, yeah. Growing up a stutterer, we evade words that start with the letter R. So can you?
And on top of that, he has that RW thing, which you hear really clearly in Stephen Delane's beautiful Halifax. That wascally wabbit kind of business. There was one line. And I forget the line, I've got to go back and do, but it had a lot of R's in it. And so when you added in the stuttering and the RW sound, it was, it was a little bit too funny.
The doors of the writer's producer's office exploded open at this point, and this gentleman appeared and said, "Oh, for God's sake." What is it, Ben? And he goes, "It's this line. You really are taking the you-know-what." Yeah.
It's a great script, Mr. McCartan, but could we have a little less R's?
So, point well taken. I mean, there were too many R's in one line. There were, and we did the work. We did the fiat. A royal fiat was decreed, and it was taken up.